Hey everybody. Well, today we're going to take a look at this. I don't know what it is actually. This is one of these Defo-Real figures, but I don't think it's by X-Plus. I think it's by some other company. Down here in really small print, it says Plex, and that's where it normally says X-Plus. So, and plus there's a P over here. So this is probably, I don't know, is it an off-brand? Is it a knockoff? Maybe you guys know more about it, and you can comment in the comments because I'd really like to know. But I don't think it's an X Plus product, that's for sure. But it does look like the Defo-Real type of figures. And there's some stuff going on back here. You can see it's from the 2019 Godzilla. And there's the side here. So yeah, this looks just like the regular ones, but what's really cool about this one is it has some special effects to it. Not only does it have an LED that lights up, but it actually has misting that comes out of the mouth. And that should look really cool. So I think the X Plus version only had a plastic piece that was translucent blue that looked like the fireball or the force beam that Godzilla has. That was the effect that they used, but this one here actually uses lights and misting effect. All right, so let me take it out of the box and we'll see what it looks like. Okay, so the first thing I'm going to tell you is that this is definitely not an X Plus figure. It looks exactly like an X Plus, and I'm sure they probably molded this directly off of one. But you can tell by the paint job that it isn't an X Plus figure because they would have done much more detailed painting than they do on here. I mean, the painting isn't bad, but it's not an actual X Plus product. All right, well, let's take a close-up look at this figure. Okay, so looking at this more closely now, we can see that it has a nice blue hue to it. And it looks just like an X Plus figure. I mean, you can see all the scaling and kind of like the alligator skin texturing, and that's just how the X Plus ones look as well. But you can tell in the eye, especially how bland that's painted. That would have been painted much more realistic when it comes to an X Plus version of this. Here's the tail. That's actually done pretty well. Back here, you'll notice there is a USB port right there. That's where you're going to plug it in. So this does have a battery in it, and I think it takes 3 hours to charge it, but I think you can run it with the cord in. But, it looks better when you don't have the cord in it. So I don't know how charged this is. I may have to charge it up. Here's the other side. And here's this part here. You can see there's a button. That's what activates it. And then here's the mouth. And down inside there, you can see there's the mister in the middle, and then the two LED lights that are on each side. I think they're blue, but there is some pretty good detailing in the mouth right there. It looks pretty good. Okay, yeah, that's very cool. All right, well, let's take a look at the instructions real quick because there's some things to note in those. Okay, so here are the instructions, and thank goodness for Google Translate because I would not have been able to read any of it because it's all in Japanese. So here it's just kind of giving you some of the dimensions and telling you some of the elements. And the head just pops right off, as we can see here. And let me see if I can get some light in there. So yeah, they tell you to pull the head off, and then there's a little reservoir in there. That's where you put the water, and not to fill it past that little line that you can see right there. And then there's kind of like this, I forget what they call it, but it's actually like a piece of sponge. And I'll show you those in a minute, but that's what soaks up the water and makes it go up to the mister. And then you just replace the top again. And then, let's see, that's just talking about where you charge it. And you can use your computer or whatever. And then over here is kind of where they're talking about those little sponge things. And right there as well. All right, so let me show you the other accessories that this thing comes with, because it comes with a couple more things. So they do provide a USB cable right here, and you'll have to provide your own plug-in piece, which most of these have that going on with that. Most of us can just use our cell phone plug-in. And then these are those sponge things. They're made of kind of like they're kind of a hard foam. I mean, I don't want to squeeze these, but they give you 3 of them because I think over the course of time, these get where they don't work anymore. And it depends on, if you leave water in there or not. I would advise you that you probably don't leave water in it. That's my guess. You want to probably drain it out and maybe dry this out as well. But and also you want to clean up the inside there. You don't want to leave water building up because it'll make it not work very well. And I think they said you should take a Q-tip and just kind of dab the water out. And then if you're going to leave this on display, I would advise maybe having it in a case or something where dust isn't going to get in there, because that's going to interfere with that little mister as well. So yeah, it could be kind of a delicate thing, but anyway, let's see if I can start setting this up. Okay, so I have now plugged this in and it looks like it's charging. You can see there's a red light in there. And near as I can tell from the translation, that when it's red, it means it's charging, and then I think the light either goes off or turns blue when it's fully charged. So I'll just let this sit here for a while and charge this up, at least long enough that I can kind of demonstrate it. Okay, so while this is still charging back here, I'm going to show you what we can do next. So now I've already pre-loosened this. You can see the seam right here at the bottom of the neck area, and it goes all the way behind these little dorsals. So you'll pull the head straight up, and when you do, it comes apart like that. So now this part here is the water reservoir, the bottom half of his body. So if we look down inside there, you can kind of see down to the bottom. I don't think it fills up his tail. I think it's just the main body part. So you'll pour water down in there, and also you do not want to fill it any higher than that ridge right in there. And it probably depends on how long you're going to run this. Now it says to use tap water or something else, I can't remember. I think distilled water might be better. Where I live here, we have a lot of minerals in our water, which isn't good for something like this. So I'm going to probably use distilled water and then fill that up. And then on this half, we can see that this section is going on. Now this is the water core, so you got to be really careful of this metal thing because it's kind of thin. But you take this piece here and you turn it a quarter turn counterclockwise, and then you just pull it straight out. I mean, you'll feel it when you're turning it. And then you just pull it straight out. And then inside here, you'll see there's a spring. And you got to be really careful of that spring because it is really easy to lose. If you turn this upside down, it slides right out. And if it does fall out, it's kind of cone shaped. So you want the narrower end to be on the top there, and then the wider end on the bottom. So this is where this little sponge thing comes in. You put this in here. Got that little spring action going on. So that's what's going to soak up the water to bring it up to the mister down up inside here. Now you'll notice there are these little notches on here. You want to match up those notches to the little notches that you see in there. So you put this in like this, and you'll feel it fit in there, and then you kind of feel it click a little bit, and then you turn it a quarter turn clockwise to lock it in, and then make sure you put the water in here, and then you'll drop this in like this, and then you'll just push down to make sure that it's locked in and you're ready to go. All right, so let me get some water in there and we'll see what it looks like. Okay, so they must have had this charged up almost full, because I've only had it charged in for an hour. So the light does turn off when it's full, and that's how you know you're ready to go. So let me unplug that. Okay, so as I mentioned, I'm going to be using distilled water. So I'm just going to use this little Dixie cup to pour it in. Let's get this all filled up. And I'm not sure how much water this holds. Oh, that actually got it right up to the top already. So I'm going to have to pour just a little bit of that out because they don't want you to go further than that top notch. Okay, so when we put the top on here, this snaps on pretty easily and you'll hear it click. And it fits pretty snug. So now I'm guessing, I don't know if it says it in the instructions, but I would wait about 5 minutes to let the water soak into that sponge core. Because I've had some of these misters before, and they usually recommend that you give it a few minutes to soak up. So let me try it, and then we'll turn it on and see if it works. Okay, so I've turned off the main lights because I don't know how bright this is going to be. And I think wherever you decide that you're going to display this, you should put something down like a towel. I've got some paper towels here because I think over the course of time, the mist is going to kind of build up some liquid, some water around here. So let's push this button. I think you're supposed to press and hold it a couple of seconds. So let's see. Ah, there we go. Okay, yeah, so you can just kind of see the mist in there. Let me turn the, oh gosh, look at that. I didn't know that lit up. Oh, that's so cool. I love it. Yeah, the mist is totally working. Okay, let me turn off the main lights and we'll see how that looks. And there it is. Oh man, that looks so cool. Wow, that looks eerie. Oh, wow. Yeah, the camera's washing out the blue on his dorsal plates back here a little bit. But, oh man, look at that. That is so awesome. Yeah, wow, you can really see it right there. And it gives off quite a bit of mist in there. You know, this is make a great humidifier if you have a dry climate. That is really neat. I love how those dorsals light up. I didn't know it did that. Oh, wow, look at that. That is so cool. I like how the middle part kind of shows up really bright since it's right down there where the lights are. Let's turn around the front here. Oh man, that is so awesome. Oh God, that looks amazing. Man, it's kind of it's eerie, but it's also kind of relaxing just because of those mist, the way the mist looks right there. Oh wow, that looks incredible. I really, really love it. It's so cool. All right, let's get a closer look right here. You can see how it looks from the top. So it did briefly stop for a few seconds and then it started up again. So it might have been just maybe a dry spot in that sponge in there. Oh my gosh, that is so cool. We can see inside of his mouth. That is amazing. Here's a close-up of the dorsal plates down here. Yeah, that's a great effect. I can't tell if the dorsal plates are clear with paint on it and that's how they're shining through, or if there's actually an LED. I think that actually is the way they did that. It's really, really pretty cool. It's a great effect. Yeah, that looks amazing. So occasionally it'll stop misting for a few seconds and then it kind of starts back up again. Yeah, my camera's having a hard time focusing in this dark. That is so cool. And it goes up pretty high there, you can see. So I don't know how long this will mist for. There's not a whole lot of water in there. It holds, like I showed you, about a bathroom-sized Dixie cup. I think it's about 3 ounces. And I didn't fill the cup all the way, and I did have to take some water out, so maybe it's like 2.5 ounces or 2.8 ounces maybe. And I don't know how long this will go. I bet it'll go for at least an hour. See, now that's where it stops. And then it'll start up again. And it might be actually part of the effect. So you can kind of see it starting up again. In fact, that might be the way that is meant to work because that was the third time it's done that now. God, that looks so cool. Oh, okay, now the light totally went out. Oh, you know what? Maybe that's part of the whole effect. I don't know. Let's see what it does. Maybe it needs to take a minute or two of a break there. I don't know. All right, let me see if I turn it off for a minute. Okay, so I turned it off and turned it back on, and now everything's fine. I'm not sure what happened there. Maybe it just needs to take a break in between certain amounts of time or something. It's got to be quite a bit of electronics going in there. And everything's got to be watertight because the water does build up in there. So yeah, I'm not sure what the deal is. Hopefully it's not defective. Like I said, I don't know if this is a knockoff brand or not. But yeah, it's pretty cool. Yeah, I love it. I think it looks fantastic. So there we go. This is the Godzilla Defo-Real figure from Plex. This is not an X-Plus figure. So like I said, I don't know if this is a knockoff or what, but it is really cool. I got it. I got it from a seller on eBay from Japan. It was about $100. It wasn't cheap, but probably because of the effects that you got going on here. But this is really cool. I mean, you know, you're probably going to look at it more like this anyway, instead of looking at the details of it, but I think that looks so cool. Definitely another great addition to the collection of Defo-Real type of figures, and it is labeled as Defo-Real, so, you know, I don't know, maybe they just took the name, but they spelled it differently. Defo-Real with X plus is one word, and on this they spelt it D, and I think there's a dash, and then it says for real, so... but anyway, so yeah, I'm assuming that little break in the action there is probably part of it. Now, I don't know if it's best to leave the water in there or not, because I would think that maybe letting that core dry up may not be a good thing, so maybe it's probably good to keep water in there. I'm not sure, but I think when you turn it off, they do want you to kind of dab that dry up there, because I think the water will leave some kind of remnants and mess up the mister. So you want to kind of take care of that. And then, like I said, you probably should store it so that dust doesn't get on there if it's going to be sitting for a while. But yeah, this is really cool. And also, don't forget to put some kind of a towel down at the bottom, because I think after a while this will get wet. I mean, I'm not really feeling it has a nice cool feeling to it, but I'm not really feeling any moisture down here. Oh, maybe. Well, no, not really. And I don't know how long it'll last. I'm guessing maybe an hour. But you don't want to leave it on without water in it. I think that's kind of hard on that little thing inside there. But yeah, this is really, really cool. Man, I just love this thing. It's awesome. All right, well, anyway, that is the review on this. And if you're interested in getting one, I don't know if there's a specific store that's selling these. I just got it off of eBay, and there's a bunch of different ones on there too, or different sellers. So I love it. It's so cool. All right, well, that's it for this video. I hope you enjoyed it. And if you did, please give it a like and subscribe. And I will see you on the next video. So thanks again, and have a good one.